My name is Carmela Lucien, and I am in your Introduction to Corrections class. Today, I'll be talking to you about my presentation of my research paper that I had to do. Well, the following question that I had for my research paper was, we had to choose a state, any state of any country of our choice, to compare the similarities and differences of the United States system. And the following questions the first one was an introduction into correctional system that was addressed in this paper. The second question was analyze the similarities and differences of history of China and United States system, because I chose China as my country. Third, analyze the similarities and differences of the correctional ideologies of China and the United States system. My fourth question was analyze the similarities and differences of sentencing use in China and the United States system. My fifth question was analyze the similarities and differences of intermediate sections of China and the United States. The sixth question was analyze the similarities and differences of the custody functions of China and the United States. My seventh question was analyze the similarities and differences of treatments used in China's system and the United States system. My eighth question was analyze the similarities and differences of gender treatment in China and the United States systems. My ninth question was analyze similarities and differences of handling special category offenders in China and in the United States system. My 10th question was analyze the similarities and differences of offender rights in China and the United States system. And my last question was analyze the similarities and differences of the use of parole in China and the United States system. And then on my 12th page, I just had all my references that I use. To begin with, for introduction of correctional system, federal as well as state criminal justice system was most usually practice the word correction as the spare intended for penology, while mentioning toward the network of organizations that oversee people in a state of incarceration, rehabilitation, parole, or else probation. Next, equally both. Okay, in place of more than a century, the United States has remained the world's major economy, accounting intended for an excess of 24% of the world's gross domestic item for consumption in 2016, rendering from the visual capitalist shows. Next, we have in Western correctional systems, particularly the United States, the main correctional ideologies appear to be situated discouragement as well as a retribution. Also, in China, the idea of design capability is not a precise, also not a result appreciated once designing. Next, the United States remains a smaller amount of countries that still enforce death sentences on a regular basis, and there are three main differences amongst the Folks Republic of China and the United States of America. You can see the differences as I speak of them. Under China law, parents are on no occasion approved of combined lawfully custody in place of remains the case in some countries wherever both parents portion the accountability of raising the kid after a separation. As in custody in the United States, Converse Stop Shop also protection are lawful footings that are from time to time use label the illegal apply association stuck between a parent and the parent's child. Next, the causes for China extraordinary stroke occurrence are not well assumed. The cardiovascular jeopardy issue of profiles of China as well as the United States have not remained straight associated in all over the country representative populace examples. The high excuse me, I'm sorry. The hypothesis be situated the differences in cardiovascular disease consequences in middle of the two countries are to attribute to their differences in risk factor profiles that hypertension would be expected to predominate in China, while the risk factors might stand predominant in the United States. Differences among women as well as men in education, employment, political, and economic authorization have been well documented in China, outstanding toward the extended additional culture that male is larger to female. Also, however, even though this growth is gender equality in the United States endures to keep it up in lost methods together with difference in women's political presentation as well as contribution, work-related separation, the gender wage gap, also the unequal delivery of household labor. Next, we have combating crime is a major social issue confronting every country in the modern world. China's sample goals in criminal improvement are to turn special offenders into a different kind of individual, one who put up by the laws as well as supports himself, otherwise herself, with his or her individual labor, also to reestablish these folks as permitted citizens in society. The difference in the United States is that substance mistreat stays a main reason of making special needs offenders in the society. The China court system be situated established on a civil law system that was showed off of Soviet legal principles. The government needs to verify responsibility further than a rational uncertainty in advance before sentencing, as well as punishing offender crime. The United States Constitution make available criminal offenders with several constitutional rights. And lastly, federal parole in the United States remains a system that is applied through the United States Parole Commission. And until as for China, under China law, criminal law, individuals penalized towards 10 years, otherwise more in jail, in place of violent offenses as well as homicide, rape, and arson cannot be paroled. And that is all for today. That was all the questions that was asked on my research paper. I just gave you a summary of those key points that I found most important. Have a nice day. My name is Carmen Lucien once again.